Meet Nick. Amazing eyebrows, booming voice. Meet Paul. Hairtastic.
Thank you.
Smells like a prince.
Sage.
Sage. Did you just say sage?
Or maybe vodka by now. I don't know.
That's just because he's next to me.
Haven't cracked it yet.
I took sips of the gift we were given.
Sure.
You're halfway, man.
Don't.
It's going to get you.
The only reason he smells like vodka is I breathe heavy.
It's Eau de Jeff over here.
Anyways, so you go, you go and it's Bref and Jeff rhyme.
Jeff.
We're writing poetry.
Bref. Okay, Jeff, please continue. You had a question. You derailed yourself.
It's a masterclass.
The BeatiDudes.
Yeah, if you heard that knocking on the table, it's because the tiny table is back in action. This is the BeatiDudes, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you from Irving, Texas, in the middle of DFW. This is an epicenter of humor and holiness, thanks to the BeatiDudes. Season 5. I'm Jeff Schiefelbein, joined by Nick Bezner.
Rock and roll.
Yes. And Paul Kolker.
Hello, Irving, and everywhere else.
And today we're going to be talking about all the things about what it's like to be a Christian man on a walk together with other Christian men.
When I start using a British accent, my daughter Hannah literally starts crying. She's like, "Stop, Daddy, stop!"
It scares her.
Yes, it scares her.
Because she thinks you had a heart attack.
Something.
Do you know, like the heart attack victims that come out of it with a British accent?
That's not a thing.
I promise you it is.
Really?
Dude, this
What?
is... I lie about a lot of stuff, but I always tell you when I'm lying. This is true.
That's well. I don't.
If you said, "Are you lying?" I have to say yes.
There we
It's
go.
in my moral code.
Correct.
I'm not lying. There are people... we'll look it up
I
in
believe
between
you.
the shows.
I
And
believe
you know that's true because he's not wrong.
Told that to... Okay, that's how it works. You know what's funny about like the British world? My kids don't have British accents, but thanks to our friends...
Wait, they don't?
But
Eustace does.
I got to tell you, they use British phraseology all the time. And even yesterday, Ambrose was like, "What about that bit there, Father?" And I'm like, "Dang it, Peppa Pig." That bit.
That bit.
Yeah.
How about that?
There's
bit
some
right
other
there?
bits that I don't understand. And I'm like, "You what? You don't understand the bits?" But it's also that other thing, the
bluey.
The bluey.
Oh, yeah. Because
Yeah.
they're Australian.
Yeah.
And in the Schiefelbein family, we just consider all accents homogeneous. Like, you're either from Texas or not.
All international.
There's two kinds of people.
Yeah. Texans and whatever else. And that Northeast slur you just heard there,
The whatever else.
The whatever else.
I'm one of those, yeah.
our esteemed guest, John Singleton.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Really glad to be here.
Where were you born?
I was born in Naples, Italy.
Really?
Yeah, my mom's full Italian. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, you didn't know that. I didn't tell you that. Yeah.
Parli l'italiano?
Io sono italiano, nato in Napoli.
Ah,
Sì,
molto bene.
Yeah, molto bene, yeah.
Molto bene.
Yeah. You didn't know about the mafia side. I didn't tell you about that.
Hey, I mean, in the 5 minutes since we walked from that office to this office, we forgot to get the download.
On birthplace.
So she's not an expat. You were like you're born Italian and stayed Italian.
No, I'm an American citizen. My dad was in the Navy in Naples. There's a NATO base there, and then we moved here when I was very young, 1 year, a little over 1 year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He met your mom while he was in the Navy?
I met my mom, yep.
Wow.
He was in the Navy, yep. War bride, but there was no war.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
You don't have to be so scared.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Right.
It's not even desperate.
Right.
Hey, that's my bride.
So we might as well do something.
Right. Make love, not war, right?
That's exactly.
It's better.
That's
right?
where that came from.
Right. I originated that.
Non-wartime.
Right.
John, how did you find us? How did we find each other? Where does
I
this
think
match?
it was through Steve at Legatus.
Stephen Henley.
Yes.
The man.
The man.
The
yes.
Legatus man.
Yes, he came to our chapter and gave us a talk. And
Was it about the BeatiDudes?
I think he was just there for the food. Can I give you guys my gift? Can I give you,
You
my
brought a
gift?
gift.
Can I give you my gift?
Sure.
Oh.
I mean, if you want the show to be done quickly, go
I'll
for
accept.
it.
I'm sorry to duck off camera, but
Oh
that's
my
for you.
goodness.
This is for you. And for you.
Did you get this on the airplane?
One for each of you. Little bottles of vodka.
Yeah.
One for each of you, 3 for me. That's fair, right? 3 and 3.
Makes
This
perfect.
reminds me of your Italian roots, this vodka from Tito's, Texas.
This will go so well in my spindrift.
Right, you gotta open it right up.
Oh, I need a stronger grip here.
Yeah.
I need some grip strength.
There you go.
So can I tell you the story?
Oh, wait,
Please.
was I supposed to leave it closed and let it age?
It's Tito's. I
In
don't
a
know.
tiny plastic bottle. Nobody.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it's gluten-free.
Jeff's diving right in. I love that.
Yeah, well. Okay,
We've
go for
had-
the story.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind having a little vodka.
I'm on the red eye this morning.
You
like-
took the red eye.
Yes. Now we're getting into Russian jokes. No, I'm on the red eye. I'm standing in line, and I hear a voice, right, going in the gate, and it's a friend of mine who's piloting the plane.
Yes.
So I had no idea. So I walked over. We chatted. He, moved my seat up a little bit, helped me with a little, getting my stuff straight. And then I got on the
Did he
plane.
put you on first class?
No, I just moved up to like the bulkhead where there was more room for my legs.
Yeah.
So he goes, so later on in the flight, the flight attendant comes up to me and goes, "Would you like a bag?" And I said, "No, I'm fine. I'm fasting. I'm good." Right. And she goes, "Oh, okay." And then she walks away. And then we're like 20 minutes outside of Dallas, and she comes back and goes, "I don't think you understood what I said. Do you want a bag?" And I said, "Is it lunch?" I said, I'm not sure that I want anything. And she goes, "It's liquor. It's liquor." Right? And I said, "Oh, I've changed my mind. Yes. What do you got?" And she said, "What would you like?" And she goes, I said, "Vodka. What do you drink?" I said, "Vodka." So she comes back with this bag, this hidden bag, because I'm a buddy with the captain
goodness.
of vodka. So I thought I'd share them with you.
Dude, who knew that was code speak?
Yeah, I know.
You need a bag.
I know.
Well, and I keep asking people, can I
Of
help you
what?
with your bag? And nobody's ever given me vodka.
Yeah, you loiter outside of grocery stores for that very purpose.
Can you get me a bag?
Yeah. And I'm not going to say the name of the airline. So that's as much as we'll say.
Sure.
But just tell us your friend's name and rank and all that.
Property of Delta.
Yeah. Made exclusively for Spirit Airlines. Spirits in the air.
Spirits Airlines.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
there we go. Hey, so you didn't put any effort into this gift. It was literally...
I gave you half of my gift. I feel like that's a sacrifice. And it's Lent. So I think I did a good deed for today.
This is like corporate works of mercy.
Well over 10%.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, my goodness.
Now, can I say how honored I am to be here? Because I've watched a bunch of your shows.
Yeah.
You have
awesome.
great guests.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my favorite shows was Father David Michael Moses.
Did you know him before he was on our show? Had you seen his stuff before?
Well, that's the name of my rabbi, by the way. I just want you to know. Father David Michael. That sounds very rabbi-ish. So
Yeah, that's right.
that's some of my
David
stand-up.
Michael, yeah.
And the Tebow
Some of
tables.
my-
It
some of
can't
my
be stand-up if you
stand-up.
tell me it's stand-up.
One
You
more.
have to just say it.
One more. And I love the Tebow table. And, we all love Tebow
yeah.
because
Of course I
he's
do.
a great man and he's converted tens of thousands of people in the Philippines. Unfortunately, all of them used to be Catholic. So he's converting Christians to Christians. I don't really understand the ministry, but it's Christians to Christians.
It's like B2B, but it's C2C.
Nice.
I love Tim Tebow. No offense.
I told somebody this week that I was over Tim Tebow, and they said, "Are you really?" I said, "No, I'm just saying that."
Right, exactly.
I would have him.
Yeah, he's so awesome. He's a tank, right?
For sure.
I got in a squeezing contest with him once.
No, okay, hold
Okay.
on. You were hugging.
I didn't know it was that kind of show.
You were hugging.
Okay.
Jeff, you have to use your words.
Words matter. Use them wisely.
This is what I said to him. I was trying to squeeze him. He's strong.
There's
Yeah,
no way
he's
you won that.
Probably
He would
like-
have crushed you. I mean, he's...
But look at me. I'm still here. Do you see him?
Yeah. I haven't seen him lately. He might be messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been recovering for a year and a month because that was at the last bishop's dinner.
That's right. That's right.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Do you know Chris McMahon from Legatus?
There's so many McMahons.
I know there
There's
is,
so
but
many
it's-
McMahons in Legatus. I can't remember.
Do you know Jim McMahon from the 85 Bears?
I know Ed McMahon from WWF. That's the only one I really
There
know.
we go.
Yeah, right on. Right on. Well, we can just do the McMahon game.
And he did Publishers Clearinghouse, right?
That's
Did
right.
he do that too?
Yeah. We deliver those checks.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Somebody says
I'm sorry, Vince McMahon from WWF. Ed McMahon from Publishers Clearing.
I was like,
Ed McMahon is Johnny Carson.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. You bailed me out of that one.
right.
Thank
There
you.
you
Can
go.
you see Ed McMahon on WWF?
You win $1 million from my elbow. Comes flying off the road. That's, yeah.
I'm going to whack you with this giant check. Imagine spending 7 days in the wilderness with the BeatiDudes, experiencing God's glory in the new evangelization.
Sounds amazing.
Well, that's not going to happen because we're not going. But there are these expeditions through CORE expeditions that you can go on. What's CORE?
CORE is an outreach of Wyoming Catholic College called Catholic Outdoor Renewal. They get you out into the wilderness where you can encounter God away from all the crazy clutter of our current age.
Bye-bye, cell phone.
COR, coreexpeditions.org.
The new evangelization. Yeah, I don't know why I brought up Chris. For some reason, I told people that we knew you through Stephen Henley and Chris McMahon, but I just started attributing other things to you.
Well, Chris
That's
is
okay.
Chris is big. He was like Legatus Person of the Year or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Do you know the Legatus Person of the Year? We do.
No, I'm not in that echelon of legatus. I'm at the low levels.
For all of our regular listeners, I don't know why Jeff is just weirdly aggressive today, but he's all about it.
I love it.
We had a good warm up before the show. We were
did.
chatting, man.
I mean, maybe it's the vodka loosening his lips. I don't know.
I've been around Jeff all day. It ain't that.
Okay. Jeff, do you need a hug?
He's excited. Hey,
You don't
we're
want to hug
record-
him. He crushed Tim Tebow.
no, that's
I would like to
You're gonna be out of
squeeze
your
off
mind.
with somebody.
I know what it is. You got this joy because we're recording this during Holy Week.
That's right. And you know what else? We skipped like a week or two of recording because we're too good at this and got far ahead. And I missed you guys a lot.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
It's the overflow of joy.
This is a big deal. And I was watching I watch our show. I don't know if you guys watch our show.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it brings me great joy. And so to have John jump on an airplane from Maryland,
Maryland, yes.
yeah, and come down here and get this, the second guest we've ever had from Mount St. Mary's, which I had never even heard of in my life. And now this is kind of becoming a feeder podcast.
The mother of Catholic education in the United States, Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it later.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you sent a message and said Stephen Henley, not to be confused with the musician.
Don Henley.
Yep.
Or the type of shirt.
Henley shirts.
The Henley.
Stephen Button Up.
Nope.
Jeff, what are you on today? Hi, my name's Steven Button-Up.
He missed you guys too much. He's tearing up now. He's literally tearing up now. It's like, I'm so glad to get away from the 7 kids.
That's not true. That's not true, kids. I love you. I want to be on with you right now. I'm just imagining telling somebody like, is that a Stephen? Yes. I see your Robert Polo.
Hi, and I'm Bob Tank Top.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that your response? Oh, yeah. To Bob Tank Top.
Last time you wore one.
I don't know.
You probably never bought a Bob tank top. John, you reached out and you said, Stephen Henley, here we are. You wrote a book that you are now helping people to come to know this amazing college in Emmetsville, Maryland.
Emmetsburg, Maryland, right outside of
Emmetsburg.
Gettysburg. Yep, right outside of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Berg.
Yes, a lot of burgs in that Pennsylvania
Yeah,
area.
got it.
Emmett
Okay.
Smith, Maryland.
Emmetsville. Yeah.
You would say that in Dallas.
Yeah,
you would like to name a town after Emmett Smith that's in Maryland, just to get at the Redskins, probably, or the Commanders.
I was born in Fairfax, so I actually like the artist formerly known as the Washington Redskins.
Yes. Well, they had a good season this year. Things are looking up.
Things are looking
Good.
up.
Yeah. Ever since Reagan's left, we've been waiting for that comeback year.
Oh, Big Rigo. Yeah, he was awesome. Agree.
84, 85.
Yeah. I was watching him. Yeah. The
former
Rigo drill. I think they were both in town at the same time, actually, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. That's right. So tell us about this. Well, first of all, how did Mount St. Mary's come into your life? Like who's Little John? Not the Robin Hood.
So, like a lot of things, like a stray turn leads to home. You know what I mean? I didn't expect to go to a little school. I was going to go to Maryland. That was that's what my parents were telling me. And I went to Maryland for a semester and decided it wasn't for me. and a small Catholic school suited me better. So I ended up in Emmitsburg.
Were you strong in the faith at that point?
I was never doubtful of the faith. I was never against it. I had an Italian mother, but we seldom went to church. But the house was very culturally Catholic, and we had lots of statues and beautiful representations of Mary. So the beauty of it always worked on me. And I was never someone who was against it. And as I grew older, I became more, of course, mature in my faith. Yes.
What do you think it was in your first semester that caused you to know that it wasn't the fit for you?
Well, yeah.
You failed out.
I basically bombed out of engineering school. Yes, very good. That was part of it.
I have no filter right now.
Right, yeah. You could see the look in my eye. You knew that was what it was. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I just bombed out of engineering school.
You know that movie with Jim Carrey where he can't tell, liar, liar?
Yeah.
I have that right now so badly.
Keep it going. I like it.
No,
it could be the vodka.
Don't ask him any questions unless you want the answer.
Unless you want to know. Okay, you end up there, and most of us, meaning everyone I know, doesn't know the first thing about Mount St. Mary's.
Yes, and that is part of the mystery of it all. Mount St. Mary's was founded, the first Catholic college in the 50 states. Georgetown was established before that, but in a federal territory. Mount St. Mary's is the first college named for a woman in the United States. Mount St. Mary's is the first Catholic college named for the Mother of God. So these are all things that I uncovered in my book, and I ended up claiming that Mount St. Mary's is the mother of Catholic education in the United States.
What year are we talking when this thing opened?
Opened in 1808. So, so the founder of Mount St. Mary's came over from France. He escaped. He was a priest. He escaped the slaughter of the French Revolution where they were beheading folks in the street. When he came here, he got to meet James Madison and Patrick Henry. He lived in Richmond for a time.
Wow.
Learned about the Constitution from them, then went out up into Maryland and started exercising his religious freedom the way he learned it from Patrick Henry and James Madison, the future president, and ended up founding schools and parishes and religious orders. And he's mostly unknown. But the Catholic history of America is mostly unknown. So that's part of what we want to talk about today.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So you go to school there, then what did you do for a career? You graduated and sat around for the last 30 years waiting to write a book?
I'm definitely not a writer.
Okay.
I'm not an academic. I wrote this book because I'm an alumni of the school. I sent my oldest son to Notre Dame. I walk into their bookstore and they
got
have
a Notre Dame polo on there.
I do. Yeah, I do. Love Notre Dame. But we can talk about that later. But I walk into their bookstore and they have a whole wing of their bookstore that's just books about Notre Dame. I mean, the mythology of Notre Dame is huge.
Yeah.
Our bookstore didn't have one. So I said, I'm going to write a book, even though I'm not qualified, about Mount St. Mary's. And I did. And it's been very popular on campus. It's meant for alumni and
Probably
students.
better that you're not an academic.
I think it was better.
Yeah.
More relatable.
I think so. And, it's a picture book, too. Did I tell you? It's a lot of pictures.
This is a mount.
Right.
This is a saint.
Exactly.
This is Mary. This is Mount St. Mary's.
I understand
This is a
our
college.
alumni. They
Yeah.
like pictures, right?
You just met Bill Phillips on FaceTime. He's a picture.
I'm pretty sure he could read.
He had nice glasses on, didn't he?
Yeah, he's got to use them for something.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Bill, we love you. We're just kidding.
We do. We love you, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny thing is, he actually threatened to write, because he said he wanted to meet you.
Yes. I want to meet him.
Well, this is going to happen because you literally wrote the book about his college from Emmitsburg.
Emmitsburg, thank you.
And he's like, he literally wrote the book. He goes, I have to meet him. And then I said, maybe you could write the book about the BeatiDudes, and that way you could be somebody, Bill. And that's when he brought up a picture book. And I thought that was pretty crappy. We don't put our picture on anything.
That's what you guys need is a book about the Beatitudes.
Yeah, we
Dudes.
Most podcasts like ours have really made it big in publishing.
Right, yeah. You want to go back to paper and ink, right? Yeah, I think that's what we need to do.
Yep.
Meet Nick. Amazing eyebrows, booming voice. Meet Paul. Hair-tastic.
Thank you.
Smells like a prince.
Sage.
Sage. Did you just say sage?
Or maybe vodka by now. I don't know.
That's just because he's next to me.
Haven't cracked it
I
yet.
did. I took sips of the gift we were given.
You're halfway, man.
Don't.
It's going to get
The
you.
only reason he smells like vodka is I breathe heavy.
It's Ode de Jeff over here.
Anyways, so you go, you go and it's Bref and Jeff rhyme.
Jeff.
We're writing poetry.
Bref. Okay, Jeff, please continue. You had a question. You derailed yourself.
It's a masterclass.
This might be a good time to go to commercial. We'll just go early.
Why don't we just play the game?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's play the game. What's the
All
game?
right, we've got a game for you called Blessed Are the Joke Makers, for they shall inherit the points. 120 points.
Ooh, 120. Love it.
Take a deep breath.
Okay, Jeff.
The way this works is we've got a Catholic card game card, a character card, and we have to improvise as this character a response to the Catholic card game card. And
You pick a winner.
yeah, none of this is rehearsed. We're just coming up with something on the fly.
Okay.
You are judge, jury, and executioner.
120.
120 points.
This is
all-
paybacks now. This is paybacks for me.
Yeah. You get to decide. All right, here we go. The character we all have to try to become is, as a righteous, gluten-free vegan, I ran out of money on pilgrimage because of blank.
Ever since we were let out of our communist regime, I ran out of money on pilgrimage. I've been drinking this gluten-free vodka from Tito's, available on Spirit Airlines.
And the correct answer is
Wait,
The thing that I hate about Europe, it's just the worst. It's just the upcharge on the gluten-free host. I mean, come on.
yes.
I'm
Nick.
there on pilgrimage. I'm trying to have a nice time, get connected to our Lord, get connected to our Mother Mary, and now I'm spending all my money on gluten-free host.
I would love for
Nailed
the
it.
non-Catholic to figure out like what happens at Mass. That'll be $30. What? It's gluten-free.
It's like the pew fees like they used to do.
Pew
Yeah.
pew.
Okay.
and the answer is
All right, here we go. Hey, yeah, name's Ted. I'm a vegan. Just that's usually the first thing I lead with. I am vegan, gluten-free. So if we're going out, I have to decide where we eat. And when on pilgrimage, that's where I spent all of my money, was shipping bags of vodka and healthy food over to Italy, mostly.
I made a splash with the vodka. It really
Yeah,
did.
you did. And your bank account got busted.
You got frozen. Your bank account got frozen.
That's it. Yep.
You have to pick somebody.
What's that?
All right, can I read the question again?
Yeah.
And if you want to just win, just go for
I'm
it.
going to win, but I ran out of, so you're a vegan, right? You're
Yeah.
gluten-free.
Yeah.
I ran out of money on pilgrimage because the answer is I spent all my money on canola, soybean, and various seed oils because that's what gluten-free is. But Nick is actually the winner.
Yeah.
I mean, the upcharge on the host.
Wow.
I mean,
that
that's
was pretty classy.
Gluten-free host.
right in theme with the show, funny and religious. He killed it.
I actually think we're all winners because the way that you announced the winner was a winning moment. Thank you for that, for being our celebrity guest judge. Somebody say some words.
You get some socks from
They're
soccerreligious.com.
JP2 socks.
Love it. Thank you.
The cartoon comic book version.
If
Yeah,
you want to
Carlo
get your
Aquinas,
own
right?
socks,
Isn't that Carlo?
it
No,
is-
that's
no,
JP2
it's
when he was a kid.
It's just yeah.
When he played soccer.
If you want to get your own socks, go to soccerreligious.com/BeatiDudes for 10% off.
The website.
Don't get
Okay.
10% off the website.
Can I talk about why Mount St. Mary's is better than Notre Dame?
Yeah, but we're going to come back from break. Ready?
Hi, it's Paul Kolker from the BeatiDudes here, and I just wanted to share with you guys that I also, outside of the show, perform improv comedy on a regular basis with a group called Divine Comedy. So what we do is we come up with everything on the spot, so whether you're looking for faith-filled, fun, family-friendly comedy for your youth night, or whether you're looking for clean comedy for your corporate event, Divine Comedy can perform for your group and even get you in on the action.
So if you'd like to hire us to come out and perform for your next event, check out DivineComedyImprov.com. Divine Comedy, an inferno of fun.
Nick, when it comes to investing, I just feel like money and morality don't always line up. What's the answer?
Often that's the case, but our friends at Aquinas Wealth Advisors have a really great solution. It's called the Faith and Finance Score. You go on their website and you put in your info. They tell you where you're invested and where it doesn't actually line up with where you want to be.
So you mean I don't just have to funnel money towards a retirement fund where I don't know what it's investing in?
That's right, you don't. And you don't even have to give up or sacrifice returns. You can get both.
So just get on the computer, bing, and I type in the website.
AquinasWealth.com. It takes longer to type than it does to get your faith and finance score.
Thanks, guys. Great job, Nick.
You betcha.
You know what I think is hard about starting a business? Healthcare, for crying out loud. It's expensive. It's intimidating. At the end of the day, you're probably paying for stuff you don't even agree with. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
I knew you could. So what we did is we started working with Solidarity HealthShare. Totally different. These folks are aligned with us morally and ethically. And even the structure from a cost perspective works for us as we're launching businesses, as we're growing our families. And I don't know if you know this, but a couple times my kids went to the hospital in the last 2 years.
They sure have.
Yours? But Solidarity has walked with us through all of it, including some crazy stuff for Benny Pro, my little boy. So all of this to say, I would encourage anybody out there thinking about their own business, their own needs, check out Solidarity HealthShare for a better alternative to regular healthcare. So check out learnmore.solidarityhealthshare.org/BeatiDudes.
Stop what you're doing and listen to the BeatiDudes.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with John Singleton, and we're talking about Mount St. Mary's. And there in the break, you had a bit of a controversial take of why you think Mount St. Mary's
It was
is
a 3-second break and
better.
he got controversial. I know, but I'm just saying he
is
went
better
bang.
than, and I've got a lot of friends. You even have a son who went to
that's right.
Notre Dame.
Right. So the founding story of Mount St. Mary's is unrivaled in higher education.
Go
and that's
on.
because it begins with a very Catholic trope, a type of mythology that you see not just in Catholicism, but throughout great literature. Mount St. Mary's was founded in a cave, okay? It was when a priest climbed a mountain, a barren mountain, got lost, ended up spending the night, woke up, looked into the cave that was behind him, and got a vision to make a school for the Mother of God.
Wow.
So that connects our story at Mount St. Mary's to the greatest stories of all time. You know, Homer's cave, Plato's cave, Christ broke the chains of death in a cave, right? Christ was born in a cave. Mount St. Mary's has a very special place in American history that's mostly unknown, and that's because we have sort of a Marian modesty. We also don't have a religious order to chronicle our achievements. Notre Dame has the Congregation of the Holy Cross. Villanova has the Augustinians. Mount St. Mary's is an independent Catholic school. So that makes us independent, and it's also allowed us to become beholden on saving personalities who have come through the school at various times, because the school has never been successful in a worldly way. Notre Dame's a great school. They have a $20 billion endowment. Mount St. Mary's has nothing like that.
Sure.
It's got the biggest seminary in the country on campus, and it's also got a thriving undergraduate school, but it is not in the national conversation.
They weren't
right?
in the national championship game
No,
this
they
year
weren't.
for football.
Thank you. It's true.
Notre Dame was.
Yeah, or basketball, although we have a good rugby team.
I didn't know it was the largest seminary. I just learned something about Notre Dame.
That's cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody else knows that, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mount St. Mary's
It's Mount
is
St.
the
Mary's.
largest
Oh,
seminary.
Mount St. Mary's does.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, I would have known this, right?
Yeah. No, our story is better.
What's
and
the seminary called?
it's called Mount St. Mary's Seminary. They're just
I know nothing about seminary.
Yeah, we share a campus, and so we're actually, we have a greater story than Notre Dame. I think it all begins in a cave, and then it goes obviously to Mary, who is a hero and a hero maker. Right? She is the mother of Jesus Christ. She is, a lot of times, denominational critics will say to Catholics, why do you have all these images of Mary, right? And where's Jesus? But to the Catholic eye, when we look at Mary, we see Jesus in utero. We see him, right? And that's how Catholics see Mary. It's not Mary standing alone, right? But she is, and we recognize the humanity of that person in utero. And that's one way that we love, obviously, Mary, because she helped to bring Jesus into the world.
Yeah, the Lord waited on her, yes. He asked her, and she
Yes.
said, be it done unto me according to your word.
Yes, there was consent. Absolutely. Yes. So I could talk more about Mary, and maybe I will, a little
Please
bit
do.
more. So the hidden history of Mount St. Mary's and of Mary kind of goes like this. I went there. I didn't notice these things when I went there, but when you look at the golden statue of Mary, and we have a golden statue just like Notre Dame has the golden dome, but ours is actually 1 foot taller. So we're staying with the theme that we're better than Notre Dame. And
I'm starting to buy this. I like 1 foot taller.
All these things are adding up in the Mount St. Mary's column.
Right,
That's
right.
what I'm hearing.
I'm totally unbiased.
Totally.
But when you look at the statue, what you see is a golden woman, right? But what I didn't notice when I was in school was, one, that golden woman is pregnant, right? Again, at the time, my eye wasn't sharpened. And then you also see her with her foot on the head of a snake. Two things I missed when I was in college. Well, what does that mean? It means Mary is a hero. She is battling a dragon, so to speak, right? Which is popular in mythology, from St. George to Perseus to all kinds of hero myths, right? Except she's a woman, and she's actually the prototype of the hero. Catholicism has always venerated women in a special way. And of course, the devil tries to say the opposite, right? It's not true. Mary is both a hero and a hero maker. And folks who love Mary generally step into the shoes of a hero in their life. It's just the way it works, from the folks that I know. And so, a fair lady always brings out the best in a brave knight, right? And that's how I write about it in the book. So Mary is, can we talk about Genesis a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so Genesis 3:15.
You're the guest, man. Go.
Okay. Genesis 3:15, we have, she will crush the head of the serpent. But in revised versions of the Bible, that has been changed. That has been changed to it or they. That was starting around the time of the King James Bible. So right away, we have a pronoun controversy. We've got Mary, she will crush the head, according to the Catholic Bible, in Genesis. In Revelation, the dragon stood before the woman to devour her child the moment it's born. So you have Mary at the beginning, Mary at the end, the book ends, and you've got a snake that turns into a dragon. Evil is growing right from the beginning to the end of the Bible. And so Mary is confronting this dragon, right? And if you look at denominational interpretations of the book of Revelation, because they have removed the she shall crush, they look at the woman in Revelation and say, I don't know who that is. That's the mysterious woman of the apocalypse. They don't identify that person as Mary, right? Because the prophecy of she shall crush the serpent's head is no longer there. And so many Protestants do not see Mary as this woman who in Revelation 12, at the end of time, is confronting this dragon, right? And that's really unfortunate, because it brings such a beautiful biblical symmetry to her story and raises her profile, I think, to where it really is, right? She rebuffs the dragon. She gives birth to the child who they say will rule all nations. Clearly it's Christ, but even that gets lost in some other interpretations. And of course, in the end, we win. So I just brought all those points out in the book to show that, like, the way history works is it's a gradual darkening of our knowledge of what the world is really like versus what the official keepers of history tell us it is. And I think we all know intuitively that that's true. But I think I was able to bring that out in the book to say, like, we're even losing, and I teach a faith formation class, and even in the revised version of the Bible that we use in our Catholic faith formation class, doesn't say she. That's been removed or changed, but it's I mean, it or they doesn't preclude Mary, but it certainly makes it very unclear. And you could say they would be Christ and his mother, certainly. But the she makes it really, really clear. And that's why Catholics talk about Mary more, because it's right in their book.
Yeah, it's like decently catechized Catholics catch this because we're taught this, right? That the old predicts or prophesies the new and the new illuminates the old.
That's right.
But I've always wondered like what it would be like to sit in these classes that are Protestant based or certainly aren't going to bring up Mary as any part of a key figure.
Right.
And hear why or how that gets so lost, because when you know it so clearly that it's hard to not see it. It's hard to not read through Scripture and see it in the old and the new.
Yeah, and if you come to Maryland one day, that was the first Catholic, I'll call it colony, before we were the United States. Is where the British, I'll say, unloaded a lot of their Catholic population to America, kind of with a carrot that this is Mary's land, right? And then later it was like, no, it's not Mary's land. It's named after a queen named Maria Henrietta. But the Catholics had already settled here and gotten here, and they named their capital city St. Mary's, as in Mary, the Queen of Heaven, the Mother of God. St. Mary's City, St. Mary's River, St. Mary's Armory, St. Mary's County. St. Mary's is everything. So the people who moved here, the Catholics who moved here, recognized it as Mary's land. But official history, if you look it up, will say it's not named after Mary. It's named after a British queen. So again, another example of how history slightly changes. And if you ever go to St. Mary's City in Maryland, you'll see the shocking truth that the whole place is sinking into the ground. It's not kept up very well, and that history will be like Pompeii one day. It'll just disappear. So, and it's amazing. Yeah.
It took me until I was well into my adulthood to think Maryland was Maryland. Like somebody had to tell me the name of a preschool was Maryland, and I was like, that reminds me of Maryland. And I was like,
light bulb.
But I mean, like when you're little, it's just a word,
Maryland.
Yeah.
You say it fast and it's smushed together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
I heard a Mary story today that's worth sharing. This guy, and I'm not going to give you any more details or else I have to expose a bunch of very famous people. This famous Jewish man was growing up in France, and his family told him to go anywhere he wants in the city, have this complete freedom, but don't ever go in that building over there. And it was a Catholic church. He said, don't ever go in there. The Catholics don't like you. They're bad people, like whatever. So being a little mischievous kid, he was like, went there the next day. It's actually Lourdes where he was. And he goes in there, and at the foot of Mary has this profound experience where he realizes that Mary is telling him that she's going to protect him for the rest of his life, and that she's going to be with him, and that she'll walk with him. And he ends up having this crazy devotion to Mary, gets a statue, hides it from his friends his whole life, carries it around, still is not converting to anything. And anyways, in all of this, has come to like have this incredible devotion to Our Lady of Lourdes, and believes in the Mary part more than the Jesus part, which is so different than every other story I've ever heard. It's like, hey, I'm still having trouble with Mary, but I'm all in on the sacraments. I'm like, okay, I got it. Here's some things to consider. This guy's like, I'm all in on Mary. He didn't call me. The famous Jewish guy didn't call me, but he would say, I'm all in on Mary, but I'm having trouble with the Jesus part.
We should have him here with some vodka. I think we could work it all out.
I got this. It'll be the first time we put 5 people at this table. You're sharing a mic with him.
I'd be elbowing out of my way.
Actually, at that point, Paul's going to tell me to take a walk. Already called commercial break.
Yeah, this is pretty close quarters here. This is nice.
I didn't mean to throw a wet blanket on you.
Go to commercial. Jeff's losing it. It was weird. Something hit me in the thigh during commercial break, and I was like, what? And I looked down. Dude had a tranquilizer. And he just put a little bit in there. Have you noticed how much I calmed down?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
So a little more about the Catholic,
let's go back to
the mother of Catholic education.
Please,
yeah.
So the parochial system that is the Catholic education system across the United States was started by a Mount St. Mary's grad in New York in the 1850s during if you ever seen the movie Gangs of New York, during that really tough time in New York when there was a lot of anti-Catholic bias and there was a lot of fighting and skirmishing and killing, unfortunately. But he actually petitioned the legislature of New York and got the Catholic parochial system started. And then from there, they rolled it out across the nation. Mostly, again, that man was from Mount St. Mary's, and the priests who rolled it across the nation in the Third Plenary Council of Baltimore, the plurality of them were Mount priests. So there's another reason why it's the mother of Catholic education. St. Elizabeth Seton is from Emmitsburg. She started the first school. She was tutored by Mount priests.
No way.
Yes, way. And she's the first American-born saint. And by the way, Stanley Rother, who is the first American-born martyr, he's also from Mount St. Mary's. But back to education.
This makes me want to be nicer to Bill.
Right? Yeah. Show him some respect, man. You know, but between St. Joseph's, which was St. Elizabeth Seton School, and Mount St. Mary's in that 1808, 1809 timeframe, we were the cradle of Catholic education, right? And then if you look at Catholic colleges, even Notre Dame, who we've been talking about, was, I'm going to say, helped along by a Mount priest who was Bishop of Indiana at the time, purchased the land for the University of Notre Dame, and actually recruited Edward Sorin, who would become the founder. So that's very similar stories with Catholic University of America, Seton Hall, Fordham, Spring Hill, and many other Catholic colleges all came out of these pioneers at Mount St. Mary's. But that's what the book is about, to kind of reveal this hidden history.
If I say the word Mount priest anywhere else, do you think anybody's going to know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, no, I've never heard that in my life. Yeah.
Nope.
But I'm going to start saying it because I feel like we're on the inside.
Yeah, you're getting the real scoop from me.
Yeah.
And again, if I was an academic, I mean, no academic that I know of has written a book about this. I may be wrong, but I'm not sure. Would they go? I don't know if they would go there or not, right? I think it's better just to be an amateur and just go at it and write a book.
Sure.
Yeah, and just see what you come up with, you know?
What is your hope for this book, and when did you release it? I don't know much about the book itself.
It came out in late 2023. The school has been very enthusiastic. The seminary bought a bunch of copies. The school bought a bunch of copies. They sell it in the bookstore. It's available online, electronically through the bookstore. It's not something to be sold on Amazon. What would be the point? It's really for folks who probably went there. There's some other, certainly fans of the university who might want it. But my hope is that it will just tell the true story, that the history will not get lost. That it'll support the Catholic identity, obviously, of the school, which is pretty strong. But yeah, I just want it to be known and these things to be thought about, because I think especially with the internet, and you think about how the sands of time shift our knowledge. If you think it's done in books, how easy is it to lose data on the internet that, where did it go? It's just gone. It was here. And now it's gone.
Zuckerberg has it all.
Right. Yeah. Somebody's keeping score. I don't know, but yeah, it may not be available to us.
Rewrite history. That's right.
Right. Exactly. So I'm glad to get it down in pen and ink. Yeah. So it's exciting.
Analog here.
So what's the title of the book? Did I miss that?
It's The Meaning of Mount St. Mary's, available in the Mount Bookstore, and it's it's all about the mother of Catholic education in the United States. Where did we get this system, this parochial system? Where did we get our colleges? A lot of it came out of the Mount.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool. The Mount. Gosh,
Mount.
there's so many cool ways to talk about this place.
I'm glad you like
Priest, the Mount.
The Mount. Yeah.
Emmett Smith.
Yeah. Emmett Smith University. An extension of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. I wanted to see the stadium when I was here today, but I didn't get a chance. Next time.
Before they blew it up, you could have seen the old one from this office. But
is that right? Wow.
that's how close it was.
That's true.
I don't even recognize the new one as existing.
Well, it's in Arlington.
Yeah, I can't see it.
It's not even technically Dallas.
Yeah, of the Arlington Cowboys.
Just saying.
Nothing like them Washington Redskins.
They made a comeback with our new quarterback, right?
I stopped watching in '84.
when we were ahead.
Is that your team?
Yeah, I live in Annapolis, so I'm kind of in between, DC and Baltimore. Growing up, I was definitely a Redskin fan, but now that they're winning again, I'm going to get back on the bandwagon.
That's right.
That's how I feel.
Hop on, baby.
Right?
That's it.
Right.
Be a winner.
Exactly.
You know what I love about you?
What?
You went to college, then you did nothing. We don't know a single thing about you. You're a black hole.
You wrote a book.
Let's keep
And
it
then you
that way.
wrote a book about when you went to college.
Right.
Like,
Let's keep it that way.
This is amazing.
Well, yeah, we know he was born in Italy.
I bombed out of engineering school.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then when there was no bombs, we made love and not war.
Right, exactly. Right. I think we hit the highlights.
Yeah, we got it all.
No, I'll say this. I'm got a wonderful wife. I've got 3 boys. I think I said this to you before, because, and I love saying this, is that people certain points in their life have ups and downs, and they think, does God love me? And I'm not really sure. And whenever I feel like that, I just always think of my wife, and I say, there's no doubt that he loves me because I got a great wife, and I prayed for it, and I got it. And so when I get those negative thoughts, I quickly dispel them when I think about the reality of my situation. Yeah, so 3 boys. One went to Notre Dame, very proud of him. Another one went to Villanova. Another went to Catholic U. So they all went to Catholic schools. That really wasn't by design. I thought maybe the last 2 really didn't want to go to Catholic schools, but somehow I tricked them into it.
Good.
And they're all good guys. Yeah, love them. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And if you had to go back to school and you couldn't go to the Mount, you had to pick a different one.
There's a sweetness about Notre Dame because it's named after Our Lady, like Mount St. Mary's, that's hard to deny. I don't know if you've been to campus, but if you haven't, you should go. You'll see it in the Golden Dome. You'll see it in the beautiful grotto that they have there.
Touchdown Jesus.
There's Touchdown Jesus. Yeah, it's just, you've been. So
I have visited.
Yeah.
If you look, all 3 of us have the same gold ring. You see, this is from Texas A&M, so we're all Aggies. But we went.
love
People
A&M.
don't know this. It's like the secret life of, or the secret history of Texas A&M. It's Texas Ave and Maria.
Well, it's a big population of Catholics there.
That's right.
From
That's why.
everyone I know tells me that. Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
At St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually St. Mary's
That's the
Center.
campus ministry. Yeah.
Really?
Do you know that not only have they been turning out one of the highest numbers of religious vocations, priests, many of the priests have become bishops, but all 3 of the BeatiDudes went there too.
That's the
that's
stat.
so-
many
That's going to
things,
be erased
yeah.
from history as soon as the people who run things can
That's why
erase
we're
it.
going to have to get our book written.
Right, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, you better put it in paper. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do a paper version of YouTube.
Right. It sounds crazy, but maybe it's a good idea.
Each page is just a frame from one of our episodes.
Then Jeff said breath.
Rhymes with.
Jeff.
You guys have a great show. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You still think that right now?
I think it's funny. I think you guys are funny, and it's a funny show, and I think it's the way to, to present all this good material.
Any funny people in your family?
I have a son, one of my sons, who's living in Greenwich Village, who is doing comedy in New York. Yep.
Comedy,
Wow.
stand-up comedy, like
He's doing-
trying to make it in
He's
Greenwich.
he's trying to pay the bills. He's doing stand-up comedy at night. He's got a day job. He's got a day job, but he's doing it at night. He came back a year ago, and we went to a club in D.C. with him, and he did some comedy, and then at the end, one of the MCs left the microphone for just a second, and then I grabbed it, and I tried to do stand-up comedy.
Yes.
And it was crickets. I bombed like crazy. It's
hard.
And he's like, "You think it's easy?" I was like, "Man, that was rough." I got nothing.
Wait, you just dove on the
I
stage?
just grabbed the mic because I was like,
Amazing.
your son's funny, and you think I can do this.
You got it from me.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all me. But no, it
The
wasn't.
tree
I think
doesn't
it's my
fall
wife.
far from the apple.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, my wife's way funnier than I am. By the way, that's true. Yeah, it wasn't from me.
She didn't get up and grab the mic?
She thought I was ridiculous. She thought it was really bad.
If I did that, my wife probably wouldn't even look up. She would probably just be sitting there cutting her steak and eating it.
She'd be like,
whatever.
I got to go to the bathroom.
There he goes
I gotta
again,
go to the-"
She would just look straight down at her plate. Here he goes.
Well, you may have a couple of comedians in your family out of 7.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I had so many. I want one of them to be funny.
Would you want him to go into stand-up?
Oh yeah,
Why not? It's it's like a dare. It's like a risk.
such an easy life.
Right. Yeah.
I want lots of grandkids, and I think stand-up comedian is a great way to produce big families.
That's true. Yeah. Have him live in New York forever, right? You'll have
Yeah.
one grandkid.
That's right.
Yeah.
all the
No, I'm
travel.
trying to get him out of New York, so we'll see.
Well,
I've got nothing to do with it.
maybe you dress up like superhero JP2 and go get them.
Yeah. Or
Do you want different socks? Do you
maybe
feel like
I-
this was a letdown?
No.
He's like, do you like this guy?
Yeah, of course I like him. Yeah.
And there's
I'll give these to my son Gus, and maybe he'll leave New
wait, and
York.
there's Italian on them.
Oh yeah, that's me. That's got to be
It
me.
says non aver paura.
Okay.
Do not be afraid. Be not afraid.
I love that. Yeah, no, I love the songs.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And I like the sacrilegious. I've got some sacrilegious.
Are you just grabbing all the
Just give me the whole box. I'll take the whole box. And like the
Exactly. We like to call it a bag.
and like the vodka, I will distribute, regift it to all my friends.
That's right.
Great.
We're gonna see what Mother Mary wants you to have right now.
Ooh, yeah.
Bonus
Well,
socks.
if you do have Mother Mary, I will trade for
Oh, I
Carla
do. No,
Aquinas.
brother, we got you. I'm just trying to figure out which
Yeah.
one I want to do here.
Yeah.
This box, I got it from Mary Poppins. There's a lot of. It goes very deep.
Yeah, there's a lamp in there.
You guys have good sponsors.
Yeah. Do you already have Our Lady of Guadalupe?
No, I would love those. If it's Mary, I'll take it. Yeah.
She's Mary.
Yes, I'll take it. I'll take it.
That is in fact Mary.
If I'll take it. Yeah, and this is a great story too, right?
Yeah,
This
clothed with the sun. References Revelation. Like you were
Yes,
talking
and she's got the little flower on her midsection, which means that she's pregnant.
She's with child.
She's with child, as we discussed earlier. That's what we see, right?
I added Our Lady of Guadalupe to my thing.
Nice.
My neck is what I called my thing.
To my neck.
To my neck.
So your scapular?
Yes.
Yes.
It actually just is the scapular. I
Well,
didn't
yeah,
add
that's-
it. I feel like I'm adding things. I wove this
I added it to,
over my
there was a-
head.
there
So
was
many
a normal
talents.
scapular.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What I did, I started weaving here, and I worked my way around until it connected. Dude, you know I could.
For sure.
Definitely.
We don't doubt.
I don't doubt.
There's no doubt.
Paul's part of the crew, along with Nick, that just tells me things that make me feel like I'm invincible, just to see if I could actually run through a wall, and then they laugh when I don't.
Well, you got 7 kids. How many kids do we have here?
He's
Paul.
number 8. He's my 8th.
You're right. Okay. All right. Okay. And
No,
Jeff?
Don't you call
3
him
girls.
Jeff.
3 girls.
He's Nick. I'm
Nick.
Jeff.
I'm sorry. Jeff.
Old, bold,
Nick,
beautiful,
Paul.
young.
He's a Paul.
Full of
comedian.
fun. Yeah.
That's it.
Just like my son is a comedian. Paul.
Upon this podcast, we will build this
It's rock.
rock. It's reversed.
Right.
I bought Paul's childhood home, so my kids are being raised where he was a kid.
Okay. So you babysit. Is that what he's saying?
Sort of.
When he walks into a room, they're like, "Be funny, do something, say a voice."
Stand on your head.
Hey, do you have grandkids yet?
I have 2 grandsons.
Okay, you need to get them hooked into the Bookmarked podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Bookmarked podcast.
I'm there.
It's the website.
Bookmarkpodcast.com.
Yep, that's what it was.
That's it.
And you can find it on all your favorite podcast platforms. It's Paul. He reads children's books.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
He
that.
does it in funny voices,
That's right.
That's the way to do it.
like that Russian guy who's drunk on vodka.
You can do that?
Yeah,
A lot of drunk people
Well,
in
you
these
do-
children's books.
Paul, we do your best hop on pop as a drunk vodka guy, Russian.
Hop on pop.
Oh, very good.
Do you know what impression I just did? Old man who laughs just by breathing.
So wait, can you do singing impersonations?
Oh, yeah.
Could we do something from Les Mis
the show.
together?
Yeah, close out the
You want to do
show.
Les Mis?
Can we do Les Mis? Can we
Do you
do?
know Les Mis?
I don't know if I know it.
No, remember
I mean,
I sang a little
We can
before.
do
and I-
Godspell.
yeah.
I can get you a little Godspell.
Let's
do you know
do it.
Godspell?
Everybody do a little singing because I love the show with.
You or under a curse, your life is bad. You know this one? Nope.
No, I
Do
just.
you keep going.
hear the people sing?
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
singing the songs of angry men.
Okay, why don't you just, Johnny? Can I call you Johnny?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
I love.
I love the show.
Les Mis.
I do
love
too,
Les Mis.
but I also love your show with Johnny Kuplak. Am I saying that?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's a
yeah.
great show. Love that
one
guy.
blew my mind.
Love that guy.
Yesterday, look at you.
Yeah, that's how you know people crash it. They listen to it a bunch on the plane ride here.
Sure.
If I could have listened to it on the plane, I would.
Did you listen to
but
one where
don't-
we got
they
in a
don't want
fight
you
with
to
a
do
guy?
that. No, I didn't get to that. Listen, I'm not here for trouble. All right.
Wait,
Is that where this is going?
Jeff, where you got it?
Did you listen? Did you?
Getting a little nervous now.
Were you there when I got in a fight with my guest?
No.
So no, I did get it got a little testy in there. It was pretty intense.
What did he do? What didn't you like?
challenged me?
Like to arm wrestle? Because this is a perfect
It was
arm
just a
wrestling
couple of
table.
We've
challenges. Just a
arm
couple
wrestled.
of challenges. It was fine. It was fine.
And the next show, my wife was really happy because the Friday show, she was like, it was nice to see everybody having fun again together.
It's because he picked Nick as the winner of the comedy contest. That's probably
Yeah.
why.
Good luck getting out of here, John. Dang it. Hey, so you're gonna just sing a song that you know. Don't worry about us. What's a song that you know?
There out in the darkness, a fugitive running, fallen from God. Stars from Les Mis.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
What's a song you
recognize
know?
it?
Yeah, I do. That's
What's
good.
What's a song you know?
I already started. Do you?
Come on.
Just sing it, belt it.
Belt it.
I don't know all the words, but I'll give you the first line.
First line.
Do you hear the people singing the songs of angry men?
Good. No, I think that sounded great. You?
Yeah. Quando se lontana sogno l'orizzonte mancan le parole.
Wow.
E io sì lo so che sei con me.
Bocelli.
Con me. That's right.
Yeah, I know.
Time to say goodbye.
That was good.
When the weight of the world has got you down and you want to end your life.
Oh my God.
Bills to pay, a dead-end job, and problems with your wife. Well, don't throw in the towel, 'cause there's a place right down the block where you can drink your miseries away.
We don't encourage that.
At Flaming Moe's,
There it is.
where liquor in a mug can warm you like a hug, and happiness is just a flaming moe away.
This is why my dad didn't allow me to watch The Simpsons.
Yeah,
as a
the
kid.
90s Simpsons spoof of Cheers.
And by the way,
Yeah.
we just did Reverse Simpsons with The Simpsons. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see you on Friday. Check out Mount St. Mary's, where the Mount Saints are bringing Mary to all of us. And for the rest of you, we will
See you in the Eucharist.
God bless you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @ so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @ the _ BeatiDudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.